motivator? Hell yeah.
Class is in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Randi Hipper, OC guy and trade fly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
It's all good.
Hey, welcome guys to a very special episode today. We got a great guest coming on today for an interview. We're going to be doing that and a whole lot more today on Piper Academy, episode 2 of the day. Guys, let's get it. Class is in session. Guys, thanks for joining us here. This is Piper Academy. We normally are live every morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, and the market, and everything you need to know about economic data because it all matters when it comes to the price of crypto. But today, we're doing a very special show with a special guest on. Let's go ahead and bring her up here. It is Randi Hipper, guys, formerly known as Miss Teen Crypto, but everybody out there has known that you have rebranded very successfully. So we are glad to have you on here, Randi. How you doing today?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here today. It's going to be a really great show. I'm enjoying Bitcoin. I'm enjoying crypto and life as it is.
That's amazing, and that's where we all should be at right now. We do have a OC guy flying in here on the backside, so we're going to go ahead and bring him up as soon as this camera's going. But Randi, you have a live stream every morning. Tell those that don't know. I know that a lot of your followers are in here right now, but there may be some that are not. So for the alumni, tell us a little bit about yourself, all the content you create, because I see you everywhere. You're like all over every single thing you can touch in the social media world. So tell people who you are and tell us about yourself a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So I'm going to rewind a little bit to when I was 13. I'm currently 21. Back in 2016, my dad was first telling me about Bitcoin and crypto. Long story short, I thought he was crazy. By the time I was 16 in 2019, we did our first Bitcoin and crypto transaction. And I thought it was so easy. You scan a QR code, copy and paste a username or an address, and that's it. Anyone, anywhere in the world can send and receive money. And I thought it was going to change the way we essentially transact, being that people my age, pennies, nickels, dimes, they're essentially worthless, and they actually cost more to make than what they're worth, but that's a whole other story. So I decided to look into Bitcoin a little bit more, and then I had a few $100 in my bank account, and I saw that I didn't earn any interest. I wasn't earning any yield, that my purchasing power was actually going down. So I decided to put that money in Bitcoin. By the time I was 17 in 2020, there was lockdowns. It was very sad. And I loved going into school, saying good morning to everyone, spreading love and positivity. And I wasn't able to do that anymore. So I had to go and do something else with my energy. So I decided to create the handle Miss Teen Crypto because I was young. I was 17. I didn't really want to put my name out there yet. I wanted to signify I'm a girl, I'm in crypto, and I'm young. So I just created Miss Teen Crypto. And I saw that on all the social platforms, the handle was available, which if you're Gen Z, you really understand. And as a content creator, you guys understand that's highly important. So I took it, started tweeting good morning crypto Twitter. If you guys see all the modern GMing, that kind of stemmed from what I was doing with good morning crypto Twitter. I've been tweeting that every day for the past 4 years. By the time it was November 2020, I was creating NFTs. December 2020, I was doing on-the-street interviews. It then kind of went into the Randi Hipper show, which is formerly the Miss Teen Crypto show, over 3 years old. Have great guests, people from CNBC, Fox Business, Michael Saylor, CZ Binance. All the important people in the space have been on my show. And then you have my educational content that I do 1 to 2 minute intro to crypto videos for that short attention span. I also go to schools. I have various amounts of videos on my YouTube channel of me going to schools, doing my presentations there to educate people. I've done middle schools, high schools, colleges, adults, every single age that you can imagine. And I also have the Daily Zest, which is Monday through Friday, live at 9:45 a.m. Eastern, covering your daily crypto news and TA.
And that is awesome that you have all that going on. My personal favorite is your morning coffee pictures on X. Just so you know, like it's time to drink some coffee. So because we're all about the coffee here on this show. We actually are. We have a sponsor with at Legendary Aviation Coffee, which is an amazing small batch roaster. So we're all about coffee on this show. So I love your pictures that you have on there. We appreciate you getting on here today, but we're going to talk about market woes today because a lot of people are feeling the market woes. They got FOMO'd in. They're locked in at a little bit higher prices than what we're seeing now. And then I want to talk to you about how are you gauging yourself with your portfolio? Are you still holding dry powder? We're going to get into all those questions though. But shout out to everyone who is in the chat right now. A lot of your members are over here. We love having you guys all here. And then also big shout out to Mike, Retro Mike, dropping some memberships earlier, gifting those out. So yeah, it's just a great vibe today, and I love having you guys here. Shout out to by the way, Randy, if you don't know, I know you know Tradefly down below me over here, but you may not know OC Guy over there below you. So I want to give them a chance to give a little shout out and talk to you and see if they got anything on the convo side. Go for it, guys. Tradefly, what you got?
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, again, thank you very much for joining us. It is truly appreciated. I know you're a busy lady, and I really feel like the Brady Bunch right now. I just kind of want to look around and say hi to everyone. Like it's got that vibe. But yeah, no, it's truly appreciated. It's awesome mixing up with everybody in the chat. BC Port Corp, he just joined cum laude, so congratulations, thank you. Come on over to our Discord. We put out a lot of good information there, and it's low stress there. We drop a lot of good nuggets for you. So looking at trade setups, news, we try to give it all to you there. So yeah, with that being said, I'll pass it over to OC. I'm looking forward to this conversation about being trapped in these trades. I love this one. I love telling you, if you started at the top, I'm going to give you that price where you'd break even if you DCA.
If you DCA. OC, what you got, man?
If.
If you hit that like button, not if you DCA, if you hit that like button.
Yes, do that.
Thank you. Randy, thank you so much for joining. Pretty excited to have you here. I mean, I'm from Mexico, by the way. Hello. I'm living under a rock. And then also, and I mean, I'm a TN analyst, I'm an architect, and my story kind of doesn't go that back into when I was that young. But it's very similar of what you mentioned. I also started somewhere around 2016 when I dedicated my equipments to CGI on rendering on architecture. And then on my spare time, I found out about Bitcoin. I have the equipment. I started mining. That's when I started jumping in. And then on pandemic, that's when I really rushed into Bitcoin and started doing, a little bit more TA and doing geometrics. I'm a little nerdy guy, so that's the path I took. I mean, I'm so excited for you to tell us a little bit more about your NFTs and also what drove you into, all of these things. But other than that, throwing it back to you, Army Piper.
Appreciate it, man. Let's jump over real quick, Randy, and take a look at the crypto bubbles just so we can get the current market sentiment, where we're at and everything. First off, guys, we've got the crypto bubbles here, and we looked at this a little while ago, but if you haven't seen it yet today, a lot of red on the hourly and the daily. We're still green on the weekly itself, but if you take a look at the monthly, it's not looking good. We hit that all-time high, and we had a pretty harsh pullback. Right now, Bitcoin sitting just above $62,000, Ethereum holding at $3,000. It has been all morning long. That is a key level for Ethereum to hold there. But you can see that there are some movers here moving up on the market cap. Shiba Inu's up a little bit there. Ethereum Classic, some old stuff there. H-bar's moving up a little bit, but still red on the daily. And right now the market sentiment is not looking too fantastic. A lot of money though. I will tell you where some money's going. And you can go ahead and hit that sound effect, Tradefly, because it applies here, bro. We've got world central banks that are buying. Yes, he loves his gold. We are buying. They're buying up all this gold right now. New record in Q1 2024. Global central banks bought 290 tons of gold in the first quarter, and purchases were led by Turkey, China, and India, putting us on track for another record year on gold. Meanwhile, gold prices are up by more than 11%. And those are rookie numbers, and 25% since October. Central banks are piling into gold while calling for a soft landing as something doesn't add up. And I think that is a lot of the sentiment that we're seeing right now in the markets in general. Risk markets are very scary for a lot of people. We're seeing it on the stock side. We talk about some stocks here on the show also, but definitely on the crypto side, because when you look at risk assets, crypto is one of the more riskier ones when it comes to your traditional investors. So, what do you think, Randy? Is this a situation here where we're seeing gold being bought up by smart money and banks, which I wouldn't call them smart money, but hey, they're banks nonetheless, right? Are we seeing something that doesn't add up here? And are we looking at more downside? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
I mean, listen, you're looking at Costco. Even retail's buying all the gold right now. So I think that we obviously have a big move for people trying to hold value right now. And it goes to show that if the central banks are buying gold, they're obviously not investing in bonds. They're not investing in treasuries. They're essentially not backing the fiat system, especially because fiat is essentially not backed by gold anymore, depending on the country. I don't know if there's really any countries right now that have their currencies backed by gold. And it goes again to show store of value. And it also makes you think, are they buying Bitcoin behind our back? Because look at this gold buy. Obviously, they're not going to tell you before they buy gold how much gold they're going to buy. They always tell you after. So are these same central banks buying Bitcoin to hedge against the fiat system as well?
That's a very good point. And we actually saw an article this week that said for the first time ever, every single Bitcoin ETF saw inflows, because previously, even though we saw inflows on most of the ETFs, GBTC was still selling off their old stuff and trying to get back to a static level. Now they have inflows. So every single Bitcoin ETF has inflows right now. And it's a really good question that you pose there is, are these banks secretly buying up Bitcoin through these ETFs behind our backs? And we won't know, sadly, until their next reports come out of what they put their money into. But another place that they are doing their money, and we talk about a lot of fundamental stuff on this show, because I believe that the economic fundamentals are the number one factor in any price, regardless of the utility, regardless of their earnings reports. It's about that economy and the fundamental analysis there. So one of the things that I've been watching was Janet Yellen. You may not know this. She's buying old bonds from banks. So banks bought back in 2020, they bought a bunch of bonds to be safe. Well, those bonds were very low interest rate bonds. So they are upside down on their bonds right now. That's why regional banks are failing. She's buying back those bonds at a loss to the American taxpayer, really, to the U.S. government. And then they are using that money to buy higher interest rate bonds now. So she's pumping money by she's printing money into the banking system to let them sell off their trash bonds so they can buy new good bonds at a higher interest rate. And as I said yesterday on Investing Bros in the chat, we, the U.S. taxpayer, are going to fill that gap, just so you know. That gap of where she's taking that loss on those bonds for the U.S. government so that banks can get stood up on higher interest rate bonds. We're going to pay the difference on that. That's me, you, and TradeFly. OC, he doesn't have to worry about that down there in Mexico, but he does have the Mexican version of the SEC sending him letters saying you need to come in and talk about how much Bitcoin you're buying. True story.
Oh, boy. It's all about manipulation, though. That's all they do is manipulate the markets. Like, why is Janet Yellen allowed to buy these things and essentially just like manipulate the market?
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone talks about the Jerome Powell money burr. He's actually not the one that's printing all the money, guys. It's the U.S. Treasury Department, and that is Janet Yellen, and she's literally printing money into existence that does not yet exist because we haven't paid the taxes on it yet to stand up the banks so that they don't collapse. And that is, I think, at the end of the day, is why these banks are buying up so much gold right now to accompany that bond buyout program that Janet Yellen's doing over there without any regulation, oversight, or policy, because she pretty much has free run with the American dollar. So that is why we are in things like Bitcoin, because we know at the end of the day, Bitcoin is a more sound, more safe, and stronger currency than anything out there. OC got his tinfoil hat on, man.
I love
Oh
it so
man,
much.
I'm loving this interview. My God, I haven't said a word, and I'm just loving it, guys. Bitcoin, then aluminum tinfoil hats. Invest in those. I'm telling
We're
you.
going to put those on the marketplace here soon. We're going to be selling OC Guy tinfoil
Merch.
hat merchants.
Yeah,
You should.
got the logo on it.
Let's
What is
jump
it?
over. Let's jump over and take a look at this chart, Randy. I don't know if you've ever seen this on my show here. Oh, and OC Guy is not in here, so let me put OC in here. This is what happens when you show up late to the show, OC. It's okay. We got you.
Yeah, OC.
There we get him.
He
Get him.
he got his badge today. He got his
Get
badge.
him, Randy.
Oh man.
You know, we're all themed here at Piper Academy to be like, you know, college life, right? The alumni is our community and so on and so forth. We're going to make you the frat house mom. I don't know if you know this, but at every college, there's a frat house mom. Randy, you are officially the frat house mom of the alumni. So,
Yay! I'll make you all
matter of fact,
cookies.
as a matter of fact, I want to talk
Man.
to you. I want to talk to you about setting your show up, because you start a little bit after we start, but you're still a little bit live when we get done. We were doing a redirect to Hit Network, but they've stopped Hit Network 24/7. So we would like our to push your redirect at the end of our show so that our people can come into your finishing show on your show. If you don't mind, we would like to set that up, Randy.
That is freaking beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Awesome.
See, that's
awesome.
like community love. We need more of that in crypto. Creators
That is all we're
supporting
about here.
creators, man.
That is all we're about here. We are all about the community and about working with other content creators. Crypto Billy in there right now. Alex O Crypto. We work with a lot of these people, and we're going to add you as an official channel partner onto our outro. Stick around. You're in the outro, by the way, today too. So check this out. Check this out, guys. So this is the Bitcoin cycle from its beginning of time on Bitstamp. And if you are looking at what's going on here, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the horizontals here of my scenarios. There we go. Turn that off. This is a Fibonacci channel that runs through the entire history of Bitcoin. And we had every market bottom, bear market, we had bounced on the golden pocket until this last cycle. Of course, we had a lot more going on economic wise on the economy side. We lost that golden pocket. We went into it for about 2 months and held that golden pocket. These are weekly candles. And once we broke down, we had a perfect retest, and then down we went. I had called through the entire bear cycle that we were not going to break the 786 of this fib channel. And when we got back up into the golden pocket here, I was like, okay, guys, if we lose this, we could be heading down. I have a scenario here where I set these up, and let me go back and turn those on now. This is, these are horizontal fibs that I laid into each cycle, and they pull off of the tops and the bottoms of each cycle, running on parallel, you know, traditional fib retracements. And you can see that every cycle that we ever had, we came back and tested the 887 here, the top of the platinum pocket, before running back up. If we come over here, take a look, we actually had a phase 2, phase 3 cycle here where we came back into phase 2. Then we had the Rona dump, and then we came back in after the halving is when we actually came back, retested on the golden pocket there, and then went up. If we come over to this recent cycle, we went up into the platinum pocket, or into the golden pocket, I should say, my bad. And then we came down, and we almost wicked perfectly last week to the top of this platinum pocket again. But I'm actually calling for a $52,000 Bitcoin. The big reason for that is, if I jump over here, go to my Bitcoin chart. I was looking at Tesla earlier. See, I told you, we look at stocks too. The reason that I'm saying that is that we have this range of accumulation that occurred right here. And right now we did get a bounce on this dynamic reactor. This is one of the chart prime indicators that we use here on the show. And looking at the daily, we came down and touched perfectly on that dynamic reactor for a bounce right there. We had another touch back here. Typically really good support, but because we bounced on that and the golden pocket and are not getting back above this point of control for a steady accumulation period, I said watch for this value area low, the fixed range volume profile, to get caught here. And if we don't hold that, we're going to come back. if this does not hold, and right now with the sentiment in the markets and everything going on with inflation increasing, and now we're looking at less and less opportunities and chances for rate cuts this year, I think that we're going to see some really risk-off sentiment in all of the markets. And because of that, I'm going to be watching for us to do a visit down here to this accumulation period that's coming in at $52,000. I wanted to lay that out because that's going to lead into the next topic of discussion here. Randy, where are we at in this cycle? Did we hit that new all-time high strictly because ETF institutional buy-in FOMO? And are we just in a normal cycle? We shouldn't have hit a new all-time high yet. We're in this normal phase. Where are we, in your opinion, in this cycle right now? Because it's crazy.
People might get upset when I say this, but to me, the 4-year cycle never existed. Why? Because there were only 3 of them that happened, and they weren't exactly the same either. So all these people that like think they're master traders are out here. Oh my gosh, 4-year cycle. There's no way Bitcoin can hit all-time highs before the halving. Oh, wompy, wompy, womp. And that's what I think like about Bitcoin. If Bitcoin did everything that people thought it was going to do, it would not be here today. Instead of fast forwarding to the future, we're going to rewind a little bit. Okay, last bull market, running up past 20K. We're at 60K. We're going to 100 laser eye maxis up the wazoo. And then what happened? Kaplu. We went down to 15K. Everyone and their mom, master trader, 12K, 10K, 8K, 4.5K Bitcoin. Oh, womp, womp, womp. Bitcoin went past 15K, recovered past 20. Oh my gosh, it's a trap. Don't fall for it. Oh, 30K, 40K, 50K. Where are the apologies? Never saw them. And that's why I believe that everyone said Bitcoin would not hit all-time high before the halving. 4-year cycle does not exist. And now that it's proven it doesn't exist, everyone's still trying to cling on to something because that's what they think they know. When in reality, Bitcoin's too young to know anything. So 4-year cycle out the window, to me, never existed. And I think you have to just watch the charts and have that bullish and bearish case scenario. Look at the economic scene of the world. Banks are failing. The dollar is failing. Fiat currency, as we know it, is failing. CBDCs are coming in. You need to hedge against inflation, against tyranny, against censorship, and be able to actually own something. They want you to own nothing and be happy. That's not what we're going to do here. So stop listening to all these narratives because they'll always say whatever they want to get that Bitcoin out of your pocket and into theirs.
I don't know if you saw, it's interesting you say about property. I don't know if you saw an article this week where economist and financial specialist in China actually defined that Bitcoin is property based on what defines a property. The fundamental definition of a property, Bitcoin does meet the definition for property. So it's interesting that you say that. China financial fundamentalists all agree with you. But Bitcoin is property, so that's interesting.
But they won't let any Chinese people actually own property. Remember that one.
Of course not. Of course not, because they want their real property to be bought up, and that's a big portion of their GDP, and they're getting wrecked. So, I follow a lot on China's economy. They're not doing good. Everyone thinks we're doing bad in the U.S. We're doing better than most. I'll just let you know that. Yeah, for sure. So no 4-year cycle for you, and that I've heard this a lot, but that $3,500, Bitcoin. Shout out to Crypto Savvy. Still waiting, but yeah, it's okay. They can demonetize me. I don't need money for this. I was smart with my own money. So this show is my hobby, and that's why you'll never get shilled anything on here, and you'll never get anything that I feel is not a true statement out of my mouth. So.
Go off.
Yeah, we can do that. So, okay, no 4-year cycle. Let's ask this then. How have you prepped your portfolio going into the non-existent cycle, if you will? Did you do anything different when the price was low that you did in previous cycles? Did you think that did you keep dry powder? Are you still holding dry powder? Where are you at in your portfolio buildup? And how do you plan to move forward with your actions on that?
I think, being in a unique situation that I'm in, that I started this when I was really young. I was still in high school. So I didn't have the income everyone like else might have had because they were older. Like they were making money, they had a job and all that stuff. Like I had some businesses going on in high school. I was a part-time dental assistant for a long time. And that was kind of like my income. But again, it was like minimum wage. I was barely making anything. So I was just trying to DCA like the entire time. I mean, dry powder is hard to come by these days because we're buying every dip. But I do really suggest dollar cost averaging, because to me, this isn't like a short-term play where I'm like scalping and trading and all of this stuff. Like, of course, I look at my TAs and I love my traders, but for me, I want to hold for the next generation. So no matter what price Bitcoin is, it doesn't really matter to me, because to me, I'm DCAing into freedom and I'm DCAing into an asset that no one can take from me. Because to me, if the banks collapse today, does Bitcoin price really matter? Absolutely not. It's just money that you have that you can transfer permissionlessly 24/7 cross border. So I think to me, like, DCAing is the win, because you're just always buying for freedom. Like you're not buying for price, at least not in my opinion.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I was asked one time, because I don't know if you know this or not, but TradeFly is actually in the military. And then I am
sir.
retired. I am retired 22 and a half years in the Army. So we're a bunch of veterans. We got a lot of veterans in our alumni community too. So we appreciate the support and the love, Randy. But I was asked one time, why are there so many vets? Because Crypto Keeper, he was in the military. Crypto Billy was in the military. He said, why are there so many veterans in crypto? And I said, because we swore, Crux of Crypto was in the military also. My right-hand man in deep dives over here. So I said, we all took an oath to support and defend the Constitution. We're all about freedom, and crypto is freedom money, baby. So I tell people that
you guys
all the
are
time.
amazing. I love that.
Freedom money. So TradeFly OC, I'm going to pass it over to you guys if you guys have any questions for Randy. And then Randy, here in a minute, we're going to go in and talk about what projects you're bullish on moving forward from here. So TradeFly and OC, I'll kick it over to you, TradeFly. If you got any questions, go ahead and kick it up there to Randy over there in the corner of you over there.
Yeah, so I'm gonna double down on a little bit she said as well, right? So just kind of want to add to the conversation a little bit with the 4-year cycle and kind of give my thoughts on it. We've never seen anything like this. We've never seen the amount of government influence. We've never seen the institutional investment. Like, the game has completely changed. The financial landscape is completely different. I'm still waiting. Where was that 40% drop that was supposed to happen with the halving? Where is that? I'm still waiting. Cricket. Oh, hold on. Actually,
you got a sound effect for this.
There it is. Now I don't have to say cricket anymore. All right. So, like we have access to Bitcoin, like these exchanges, like people, even like my mom knows what Coinbase is. She knows how to use it. Like, you didn't have that back in the day when Coinbase or when Bitcoin first came around, right? It was all kind of dark web kind of stuff, trading that was happening. Like, it was kind of hard to actually get. So it's just going to grow. I mean, like, long term, like you said, DCAN. So I want to talk about that too, because you have your audience here, and I talked to it about it with mine. But if you had bought the top at 69K and you DCA'd in every week all the way down to the lows, and you're probably crying at the bottom, and you DCA'd all the way back up, you're in profits at 30K.
Period.
And now look at where we're sitting. You're really in profits now. So, like, you're laughing at people, even though they said you were silly for buying the top. So DCA is a tried and proven strategy. Don't be scared of that. I think that's very sound advice, but that is going to lead me to my question. So you're out, you're 21 now. So you're allowed to have a couple drinks. You're at the bar, you meet someone, they recognize you. They're like, Randy, I'm going to start investing. What would you recommend to them as an allocation to a portfolio? Would you tell them to do a split? Would you tell them all in on Bitcoin? Would you throw some altcoins in there? Tell me what it is you would make as a recommendation, and I will follow with mine.
Right before you say not financial advice.
Yeah, I don't really give financial advice. Like,
he's not wearing his beanie today. No financial advice. Sorry.
Because like, people do really come up to me on the street, and like, there are people that approach me like, oh, Miss Teen, like I see you on Twitter, like what are you buying right now? I'm like, I don't tell you what I'm buying, like that's no good. Like I always say, like, Bitcoin's my biggest bag, like I obviously hold ETH and Litecoin, like, but I'll never tell anyone what to buy. I tell them, look at Bitcoin, look at Litecoin, look at Ethereum, understand them and why they're different from one another, and how you feel this applies to your life, and whatever you feel has utility, whatever you think could make impact is what you should look into and allocate. Because I would never tell anyone like, oh yeah, I'm buying this, so you should buy this. I always suggest research first, because why tell people what to buy if they don't understand it? And especially like in the stock market, like you're going to say, oh, I'm buying Apple because they're coming out with a new car with Rivian and all these things. Like that's why, like, if you're going to invest in a stock or gold or property, you're obviously going to do research into that property, why it's valuable, how you think this could affect your life and maybe anyone else's life that you sell it to. So I think definitely research. I don't recommend coins. I recommend research.
That's fair.
Awesome.
That's
Good
fair.
answer.
That is. It's probably better than mine. So usually when people come up to me, I usually say, hey, do a split. Put 50% in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's daddy. Bitcoin drives the market, right? That is what we're here for. And then 25% ETH, 25% altcoins, whatever little degen plays you want to do. If you want a casino, go for it. And I usually throw a couple things out there. So yeah, I usually recommend a split. Not a financial advisor, but hey, I think it's solid.
OC, what you got for? And then we'll get into this next round of question for Randy.
All right. Randy, let me put you in the hot seat, please. All right. You are the epiphany of a feelings roller coaster for me. Half of the things that you're saying either hurt me deeply. The other half of it, I completely love them. No, just kidding. There's a little bit of truth in that, but let me just come up with something. You're talking about a couple of things, which, by the way, I told you I'm a little bit nerdy guy here, and I believe that mathematics is based off Bitcoin, right? So I do agree with most of what you're saying, but also I disagree on the mathematical point. Like, for example, you were mentioning about the 4-year cycle, right? I mean, there is a mathematical pillar there that does happen, so there is a certainty. So a 4-year cycle does exist, right? Mathematically speaking, but also I believe, and I'm not trying to put any words on your mouth, so please find me if I'm doing that, right? Or find me around this. But I do believe that you're talking about most likely in the perspective way, right? So how are you taking it? So not because it does have a mathematical pivot point, right, that you can measure it from top to the next one or to A to B, that means that the market's going to react something or in a way. We had a what is going to be Bitcoin stop on this cycle video, and I did encounter many of those problems when I tried to put numbers down in actual sheet of paper, which was exactly what you mentioned. There is not enough data. There is just not enough data to make a prediction or an accurate prediction. Everything is just in the air. So talking about, like, for example, all right, where is that 40% drop? I'm talking to you, Trade Flight, buddy. We need to talk about that after the show, all right? And I mean, of course, I mean, could or could not, right? And I was also talking to Chart Prime with our developers and our friends in Chart Prime, because I was saying, all right, you know what? Before the Wyckoff pattern that I was seeing on Bitcoin, I was a 70, right? 30% that we're going to be having that drop. Then after confirmation of a mathematical pivot point, well, then my statistics changed from a 60-40. So it is, I mean, evolving with mathematics. All right, here's my question. Sorry about all of that introduction, right? But
hold on, OC.
Where do you see?
Before you ask a question, Randy, I should have warned you that OC is a mathematical genius. So he's a nerd.
No, I love it.
I'll do my best.
He's a nerd.
Oh, I love it.
You don't get the sound bite for nerds. Yeah.
Nerds.
All
right,
nerds.
OC, go ahead with your question, man.
Nerds versus geeks, right? All right. So, I mean, I love what you bring into the table, because there's a mix on perspective on all of the FOMO and food, and also the mathematical pillars that do exist and we cannot ignore. Of course, there's not enough data, but we also are opening a door to the Pandora box, which is manipulation of big money coming in. What is your not financial advice? All right, what is your not financial advice on where Bitcoin could get till this upcoming area, and why? So what is the, have we met it? Are we gonna met it? What is your estimations? I mean, it can be whatever your answer be, right? I mean, either investigation, speculation, or whatever.
It's really hard to tell because, like, it's interesting that you mentioned like the 4-year cycle because, like, previously, yeah, we hit all-time highs, and then it was like, a little while after we would, come down, retest those like all these things. And the amount like of time from all-time high to bottom to next all-time high, it's always been different, but we've always seen like those 70 to 85% drops in Bitcoin. And whenever we saw that happen, it always went back and surpassed the all-time high. So there was like a pattern there, like if you really want to get like down to the nit grit of it all. But I think, predicting the future is really difficult because you look at the past halvings. In the first halving, we were around like $12. The next one was around 600 something. Then the next one was 8,500. So the multiples are crazy. And I think right now people are like, oh, Bitcoin can't do a 2, it could only do a 2x at most. Oh, it can't do a 10x anymore. To me, I think Bitcoin is so needed that we're going to see some sort of dramatic move where I think Bitcoin is just going to explode. To what price? I don't have a crystal ball. I can't really tell you, but I think we're going to see a Bitcoin price where people are just not going to believe what they're looking at. And I think we're going to have a massive explosion of adoption, use cases, banks buying. It's going to be like everything all at once. Right now, we're seeing like this steady, nice build up, which is really nice. But I think we're bound for those explosions that we haven't seen in a few years. We used to have like $1,000, $2,000 candles. We haven't really seen that in years with Bitcoin. And I think it's maybe time. She's been accumulating. She has a lot of money, a lot of interest, a lot of global warfare over it. So yeah, we're going to see a big explosion with Bitcoin. I can't tell you how high we're going to go, but I believe that Bitcoin has multiples in her, bro.
Yeah, that is an excellent point. I believe it's true. So one of the things that you just mentioned there about the massive explosion. So I've actually got a video that I'm working on right now that does a comparison of 45 years of investing in Social Security versus 45 years of investing in Bitcoin. And I will tell you, the end result is astronomical. It will blow your mind. I'm going to be putting that video out here in a couple of weeks. But I was reading about the Social Security is going to be out of money in 2034, and they'll only be able to pay out 80% of the entire amount projected to be owed in that year. So unless policy changes or they turn on some money printer somewhere, most people are going to be taking massive Social Security cuts. So you're looking at it is a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme because it literally, by definition, I've had this conversation. It's a Ponzi scam because the people that are buying in starting today are paying for the people that are making the money today. So that, by definition, is a Ponzi scam. So they're just taking this money. All right, we're taking this out of your check, and here's your paycheck. That's all they're doing. So, and as the population age groups start to slide off, also, it's going to be very interesting because today's generation is not having nearly as many kids as the people that are going to be hitting that age group to continue that payout into it. So, stop Social Security, let me buy Bitcoin would be the way to go. So, Randy, I have a question. Are you only into crypto, or have you diversified? Are you in any stocks? What are your thoughts on like crypto mining? Because they have historically outperformed everything that Bitcoin has done in the years running up. Every time Bitcoin moves, they tend to have a much greater growth rate. So, what is your thoughts on those? Are you diversified in your portfolio outside of crypto, and what are you looking at there?
Transparently, the only stock I own is $20 of Tesla that I bought when I turned 18. So I don't even know what it's worth now. Because the reason I was like, oh, Elon, what a G. So I just decided to support Elon. But I just, I don't really believe in the stock market. I think it's completely manipulated. I think it's all a lie. And I think it's a little bit, it's like anti-America in one way or another, because who really is in control of our stock market? We know that places like China have a big hand and a lot of liquidity there, and they make fun of us for it internationally. And then you have the fact that they claim, oh, stock market, just come in the market. You're all cool. It's such a free market. But how is it free when AMC, GameStop was going off at the same time as Doge? But it was one of the worst days in hedge fund history. So they deleted all of the articles about it, one. And two, they halted the stock
Shout out to
multiple
the
times.
DGens.
Yeah, like because all of a sudden the degens, the retail decided, oh, we want to make money. We're going to go talk on Reddit and pump these stocks. But when they do it, it's not okay. And they have to halt the stocks. But when the hedge funds want to rip a medical stock up 30% in one day because they all just decide this is the new medical wonder of the world, then that's okay. But crypto, if it's a 30% move, it's too volatile. It's completely and utterly manipulated. It's so nasty. And I don't want to touch a dirty game. I like Bitcoin. I like crypto. I like that it's transparent, 24/7 trading. And there's not one entity that's going to be like, oh, we're getting hurt. We're getting liquidated. So we're going to punish all of you and you're not able to buy or sell on our dime.
Interesting. Well, I will, for transparency on my side, I will tell you, I have 4 stocks. It's MicroStrategies because, Bitcoin backing. I have Amazon because the online world is crushing and killing brick and mortar. So that's the obvious place to go. I have NVIDIA because what they're doing in AI computing is going to actually save a lot of money and time in the future. One big thing, they've got new computers that are able to replace 200 computers. When you think about the energy usage and the cost for businesses, it seems like a no-brainer to me for everyone's going to have to update and upgrade eventually, and they're going to do it because it's going to save them electricity. So that's NVIDIA is my smart tech play, and then CleanSpark because I like CleanSpark stock. I think that they've got amazing upside potential in the mining world, especially with the transaction fees that we've seen on Bitcoin in the past month. They're raking it in over there. So that's the only 4 stocks I play in, and I do agree with you. A lot of it is very much manipulated, but according to ChatGPT, on Bitcoin, if you go back and look at the past 8 years and break it out on the average year, if you take the entire growth rate and break it out divided by the years for an average, it runs about 26 to 30% annual growth, which outperforms anything that you could do on the stock market side. So yeah, most of my money in Bitcoin. So shout out to you on that point. You are spot on. And then the last question that I had for you was, if you had one piece of advice, because I know you have a lot of young people that follow you, you have a lot of young people that work with. I heard today you have a 10-year-old mod. That's awesome. So if you had one piece of advice that you could tell someone that, hey, you got your allowance, you got your first paycheck, you had about $100, you got money for Christmas from grandma, whatever it may be, what would your one piece of advice be to that individual with that $100?
I would tell them, keep calm, huddle on, don't rush, because I think that when people finally get that dry powder, they're like, let's just freaking ape in. Let's slow down a minute, bro. Let's do our research. Let's understand what the asset we like is, what it is, how it applies to our life, and what you think the longevity of the asset is. Are you looking for multiples? Are you just looking for a store of value? I think that's really what you have to ask yourself, and whatever your plan is for your investment, that's what you should go with. Long term, go with Bitcoin. Short term, maybe shoot for an altcoin that you think is going to do multiples. So I think it's definitely up to you, your plan, and your time horizon.
Awesome. That is great advice. Randy, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. We appreciate you coming on today. Tradefly OC, do you have anything for Randy before we head out of here?
Yeah, I will make one little comment on the stocks. They're not that bad. It depends. It's all timing. All right.
I'm not telling anyone not to buy stocks by any means. I'm always a proponent of you choosing what you want to do with your money. It's just my opinion on the market.
Yeah. The S&P traditionally does pretty well, right? And if we look at NASDAQ, S&P, where they're at right now, can't really argue. But one of the things that you have to think about, and it's going to be beautiful in the future, right? Because it's only a matter of time. But some companies, they do a match. All right. So my company in particular, I put in 8% and they put up the 6%. So it's free money. So you got to take it. You're silly. You're not smart if you don't. So but wait till the day that Bitcoin is part of that equation. And yes, I am excited for that. But for now, hey, I'm going to take the free money. So, I mean, I have the traditional, I'm an old guy, so I got the IRA, the 401k, all that good stuff. And it's all done well. It's all been very, very profitable. So, with that, so we're wrapping it up. I'm not going to ask any more questions. I will just reiterate, thank you very much for coming on. It is truly appreciated. It's an honor, a blessing. It's great seeing you. It's great to actually meet you. I've seen you a couple times in Billy Goat Tales, and shout out to those guys. Love that team. They're doing
Givers
awesome things
Game.
every Tuesday. Oh yeah, Givers Game, baby. That is, I mean, me and Piper linked up, and then from Piper, I met that crew. And then from there, I met Alex O. So like, it's just been all one big community. It's been awesome. And it really, over here, I know like this is kind of our first interaction personally, but over here, it's kind of what we do. So we love, just being a happy family. So again, thank you. And I will pass it over to OC. You guys have a good one.
Absolutely. Randy, thank you so much for joining. It's been very, very, very exciting, especially with your deep knowledge on crypto, and especially on Bitcoin. I do have one more thing to say, and this is coming from Bitcoin Maxi, maybe. Is I do believe that Bitcoin, it is a project destined to fail. And I'm not saying this. I see you guys' faces, all of you guys' faces.
You came in
But all right,
swinging.
I'm saying this
for that.
because what is it? What was it? Trade play? All right. I'm just trying to also do a little bit more food for thought, right? But the thing is, I do like Bitcoin. I do think that nations should be moving into Bitcoin, like Ecuador, and I mean, why not? All of us should be having at least 0.001 Bitcoin on for hodling, right? That's my estimations for the future. Estimated on who's gonna get Bitcoin in, who's gonna use whatever leaches out of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin will go out of fashion very quickly, or out of usage very quickly, when it gets massive adopted. And I think that's part of the plan, or the uncharted plan, because you'll see the white paper doesn't, allow actually, like that fluency between Bitcoin. But here's the thing. Do you think, of course, parentheses, Bitcoin needs to evolve, not to get out of fashion, and also not to be destined to fail. But the Bitcoin as we know it needs to evolve, or will fail, right? But in 100 years, 200 years, whatever, not on our time. All right. Having said that, would you think, and this is my last question, would you think that there's going to be another secondary way to trade with Bitcoin, like an altcoin or something? And what does characteristics they need to accomplish to do that, in order for day on day massive adoption, go by, you get you a coffee, sort of thing, can be achieved in the short term scenario?
I think, like, obviously the dollar is going to collapse at one point or another. So I think that's when a lot of people are going to go to kind of like, I guess, a Bitcoin standard, where we know that there's 100 million Satoshis to one Bitcoin. So I think how I kind of picture things happening is people pricing things in Satoshis as that stable currency. And then when you go to check out, they're going to be able to have other options where you pay that Satoshi equivalent in whatever cryptocurrency, whether that's a stable of some sort, a gold coin, or a Litecoin. That's kind of how I picture it going. And I think there's going to be more like I think it's called atomic settlements, or atomic swaps, where you could swap chain to chain. So I picture like something like that going on. I know Litecoin and Bitcoin do that quite seamlessly. So I would kind of go in that direction. I do think Bitcoin's going to price a lot of people out. I think running a node for Lightning Network is a little bit too expensive. I think banks are going to be the people eventually running Lightning Network, because you need a lot of liquidity on hand to handle those transactions. So I would say Bitcoin's going to be like this gold standard, have a, kind of a Bitcoin standard in Satoshis. And then I think a lot of people will be using things like Litecoin, because Litecoin is the one that originally created Lightning Network. It came from Litecoin. The first people that did the first Litecoin or Lightning transaction was Charlie Lee, creator of Litecoin, and Jack Mallers, which she doesn't give him credit for. So I think I would look at like the Litecoin type direction, Digibyte type direction, just like Bitcoin kind of forks, or kind of lookalikes, as I think we could say, for like, the normies that are able to scale in a way that Bitcoin just can't.
You are so full of so much wisdom, Randy. I enjoyed having you on here today. You rock, and I have really, really appreciated you joining us today on here. That is not the right camera. There we go. I really appreciated you joining us on here today. Do you have anything for the people on the final words of wisdom from Randy Hipper? Drop some knowledge on us, Randy.
I would say again, keep calm, hodl on, stay zesty, don't get crazy. When we go into this parabolic bull market, don't be following all those green candles. Take your time, do your research. You won't be able to buy them all. I know we're gonna have a lot of NFT projects, a lot of new projects coming out. I saw Bored Apes launch, I saw World of Women launch, I saw all these beautiful projects come to light. Was I able to get them? No. Am I happy they're here? Yes. And can I still buy them? No. But that means that, listen, you saw a project, you saw what it can do, and you saw the technology and the capabilities of it. So find a project that you like, that you feel serves utility, that you feel that could change your life and other people's lives, like the gaming space, like NFTs, music, being your own gallery, being your own bank, whatever empowers people. Really take a look at that. Take a look at the revolution of Bitcoin and crypto, fundamentals over pumpamentals every single day. Take your crypto off of the exchange. A little note, there's only around 2 million Bitcoin tied to centralized exchanges right now. That means there's not a lot, guys. And that means that the exchanges, just like FTX, don't have the Bitcoin and crypto that they say they do. So always make sure that Bitcoin's in your hands and your hands only, so that you're in control of it all. If you guys want to follow me at Miss Teen Crypto on every single platform, TikTok, Instagram, X/Twitter, YouTube, I'm live every morning, Monday through Friday, 9:45 a.m. Eastern on youtube.com/Miss Teen Crypto. So please give me a follow. And I'm always out here to give that education and help people enter this space. My goal has always been the same since I entered this space, which is to educate and onboard the next billions and billions of people, the 98% that's not here yet. I hope you guys follow me on this journey. I hope you guys are smashing the like on this video, sharing it out with friends, because people like this is who we need in crypto. We had a lot of bad actors getting filtered out. They're still getting filtered out. And these are the people that are going to make it. People like you guys that are here every day. You're consistent and you're not shilling BS, and you're going back to the fundamentals. So I really do appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much for having me. I had like such an amazing time today. It's unreal.
Awesome. Everybody, Randy's YouTube and X are down below in the description, so follow her there if you don't already. And Randy, thank you so much for being a guest on here today. We're going to start redirecting our video over to yours every morning, and you're going to be our front house mom for the alumni here. So welcome to the alumni. We're glad to have you, and I look forward to doing some stuff with you in the future.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be your mom, everyone. I'll bake you some cookies. We'll make some chicky wangs later, okay? Get ready for dinner and dessert. Make sure you don't eat too much before then, all right? See you guys
I got to
later.
get my pindies. All right, guys, we're going to be back here tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Randy, stick around. You got to watch the outro. You're in there. So, guys, thanks for joining us today on Piper Academy for this very special interview with Randy Hipper. We're going to be back here tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m., giving you guys all the news, the markets, the charts that you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. We'll see you guys back here. Until then, trade safe. And as always, use a stop loss.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels flow low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, form a Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Tar Prime, then you will part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling out the wheels flow low. Sound off to get rhythm, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude!